safety here in the city of Columbus. And as you can see, I have a wealth of giants who are standing behind me. Today we had a phenomenal discussion, a very frank discussion, not just about crime and violence in the city of Columbus, but our successes and how to build upon those successes with our partnerships. All of the success that we've had in the last year, which we've talked about in the last several weeks, the reduction in murders specifically by almost 39%, has been because of the partnerships that are standing behind me. Today here in the city of Columbus, we have the opportunity to sit with and talk with the director of the Marshals Service, hear more about the resources and programming that are available to our partners and to the city of Columbus. So on behalf of Mayor Ginther, who's at the meeting for mayors in the country, I would like to introduce the director of the Marshals Service, Ronald Davis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for attending. As Director Clark said, I think the meeting was extremely productive. And the reason why I'm here on behalf of the Marshals Service, I wanted to see firsthand and hear firsthand on the best way that the United States Marshals Service can assist not only this community, but as we work with communities all over the country. And it is impressive when you see leadership is working in collaboration with community, with government, with private, with philanthropic, all trying to address the issue of violence in our community. And so what I did see is a very strong network, a very strong family working together. And so that will help us identify how we can best serve, how we can best assist, and to take something back to my boss, the Attorney General of the United States, of what things we can do as a department, not just the Marshal Service. So for all of those who spent time with me today to share their experiences, I'm extremely grateful. I do look forward to our continued partnership. And today is also special because you have a new United States Marshal for this district, and he's been here a very long 10 days. But he's here nonetheless, and so hopefully he'll be up in a couple of seconds. And also wanted to welcome him on board and support him to make sure that whatever this district, whatever this city needs, if we can provide it and provide the assistance, we will. I will say this, I already have a commitment to add some additional resources to address some of the outstanding warrants, but to make sure that it's done in partnership with the community, not to the community. So I am very grateful for today's meeting, today's collaboration. And Mr. Director, thank you very much for your leadership.
Thank you, Director.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to come to this podium from the ATF, Special Agent in Charge, Daryl McCormick.
Good afternoon. I'd just like to say thank you for the opportunity to be here on behalf of the men and women of ATF. The ATF is primed to tackle gun violence in our community, and we're committed to that. And our cornerstone is to use evidence-based techniques. Our primary example of that is crime gun intelligence and the use of ballistic imaging. And we want to be laser focused using evidence-based intelligence to go after that small percent of people who are committing a disproportionate amount of gun violence, and to end the victims, to stop having more victims of gun violence. But the biggest thing, we can talk about all the different techniques and strategies and technologies, but the collaboration and the whole of all the community and all the stakeholders here, that's what really makes a difference, and that's what we're committed to, and I appreciate the opportunity for us to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'd also like to invite to the podium our United States Attorney, Ken Parker.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Director, Marshal Service. Thank you for being here. I see this as a reaffirmation of our commitment. We are dedicated to protecting the men and women here in Columbus, and we will do that. Well, we are truly, truly appreciative of the community stakeholders, the Urban League, Ralph, we are Linden. We are going to protect Linden with everything we can and that we have in our arsenal. As I indicated during the meeting, the eagle, as far as the insignia of this country, and one talon is the arrows, the other talon holds the olive branch. We're committed to our prosecutorial standards, and we're also committed to our outreach. We will enforce both. We will press both into this community. We cannot thank our federal partners. We cannot thank our local partners enough. This is about community, the residents of this city. We are there for them. We are their public servants, and we will do everything we can and within our powers to make sure that the communities are safe to which they live in. And thank you for having us today.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Next, I would like to invite from the DEA, Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Michelle Spahn.
Thank you, Director. I'd like to thank everybody for inviting us today, and obviously for all of you for being here. It's really important for us as DEA to be part of this conversation. This 360-degree approach that you see with all members of law enforcement, city government, community organizations, faith-based institutions is so important because, as we always say, we cannot arrest our way out of this problem. This community engagement is so important to us and being part of the solution, and more importantly, to have community members feel that they're part of the solution. So we hope that this is just a catalyst for change, and this is just a catalyst for those continued conversations. Clearly, we see the link between and the nexus between drug trafficking and violent crime. So it's important for us to have a seat at the table, not just to be part of those conversations, but also to be involved in the community and with our youth, because that's really where those conversations start. So again, thank you to all of you for having us here and for having us be part of the solution, and hopefully we can continue these important conversations. Thank you, Director.
Thank you. And next from our City Council, Council Member Emmanuel Remy.
What you see behind us today is what I would term collaboration, because it's not just about law enforcement. It is about all of us standing behind us. And as we all know, safety is the #1 priority of this council. It's certainly my #1 priority as public safety chair, but it's also of this council, because we know that this is the #1 issue that residents talk to us about on a day in and day out basis. The forum gave us an opportunity to come together and further explore how we can continue to collaborate together. We learned 2 weeks ago that we've had great progress in numbers from year over year, but we still have a lot of work to do. That data and conversations like one today will be critical in how council rolls out our budget priorities this year and the initiatives that we support. I assure you, we are laser focused on prevention and intervention strategies that work for our community. Safety is never a solo act. It is a team sport. So it's going to take all of us, parents, social service agencies, law enforcement, faith-based leaders, government and public health, just to name a few. So let's get to work.
Outstanding. Thank you, Council Member. From our Urban League, President Stephanie Hightower.
Thank you, Director. I just would like to, I don't want to echo everything that everyone said. Being in a room with this many law enforcement people, for me, it was the first time that I didn't hear just about law enforcement, but I heard individuals, agencies talking about protecting and serving. And in the Black community, that's what we need, is that kind of collaboration. Not about policing us, not about enforcing the law with us, it's about protecting and serving. So I thank each and every one of them for being here, for being a part of this collaboration and bringing their authentic services to the table. Thank you, Director.
Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Ralph Carter from We Are Linden. Sir.
All right. Thank you, Safety Director. Again, like President Howard Tyler just said, it's about service for our community. For this being in this room, I'm the youngest person, okay? And for everyone out there that is seeing me, they see me on the news, they know what I'm about. And community is first. Right? Oh, well, let me backtrack that because Pastor will cuss me out. We put God first in everything that we do, okay? And with the message that we left off with was hope. Hope. This meeting gave me hope. I wanted to give everyone out there hope because all these individuals that are standing around me that are in this room, they are about the community. They are about our young people. They said before, we can't arrest our way out of this. We are not here to blame city officials or anybody or law enforcement for our problems in our community. Community, it's time for us to step up, work with our law enforcement, work with our city officials. We have to find solutions, and that's what this meeting was about today. We found more solutions, and we're going to continue to build on those solutions, and I'm just happy to be here, and I want everyone to champion their community where they're at. Thank you.
A few minutes for questions. Yeah, Director Davis, can you tell us, you said you've been here, you're going to 10 different cities? Yes.
is this the first, in the middle? I'm just asking, the cities you've been to before, are you hearing the same message? Are other cities having the same issues as Columbus? And what differences are you hearing in Columbus than other cities?
So this is, yesterday I was in Cleveland. Last week, I'm going to make sure I was in Albuquerque, then I was in Jackson, Mississippi. And if you notice, the communities, we're trying to get diverse group around the country that are all facing the challenge of gun violence. And there are a lot of similarities, but there's also some uniqueness. And I think the response should also be something similar. The similarities will be, in many cases, some of the root causes of violence. The uniqueness will be based on the culture of each community because it's community driven. So I saw both. And what I'm seeing is giving me a lot of optimism that we're heading in the right direction across the country. And as I move next week, I will be heading to Milwaukee and Detroit, followed by Buffalo. And then that will not be the end of it. We're going to keep engaging and identifying how the Marshal Service can contribute. People keep using this word laser focus, and I think it is completely right. We can help by being laser focused on addressing the small amount of people that are exacting a lot of violence and making sure there's that level of accountability. I think we do it extremely well, but it still has to be done in partnership with the community so that it's the right time. And then once we do that, then what is the opportunities that we can assist? So I am seeing a lot of similarities, some root causes, but I think it would be to compare cities that have different neighborhoods and different cultures, I think would be probably would not captured right. I would even imagine within the city, not all the neighborhoods are like either. So some of the responses would even be tailored to that. So hopefully that answers the question. Yes.
Director Clark, well, crime was down last year. Crimes involving juveniles was definitely up. Just in the last 30 days, 2 teens, a 14-year-old, 15-year-old have been charged with homicide using guns. So how does this city, how does CPD, along with these partners, plan on tackling that problem?
So one of the things that we discussed in this meeting were the successes. As you know, we recovered over 3,000 guns last year. And that's great news. We recovered 3,000 guns. The negative side of that is we recovered 3,000 guns, which means they were on our streets. But we know the women and men of the Division of Police are going to continue to do an excellent job in partnership with all of the partners that you see standing behind me, not just from a law enforcement perspective, but a community organization-based perspective, faith-based perspective, as well as I need to thank our residents. Because as the chief said in our meeting, a part of our success has been partnering with the community, partnering with our residents who want to see their communities differently. So we know that we have a lot of work to do, but we have tremendous success to build upon, and we look forward to even greater things in this next year, not just the reduction in crime, but the improvement in the quality of life. And our partners who are standing behind us, and some that had to leave, are committed and focused on doing that.
But what is your specific plan to get guns out of the hands of teenagers?
Well, we're going to engage teenagers at the level in which they are. One of the things that we talked about is meeting them where they are in the schools, meeting them where they are in the communities and in their families, and providing them with alternatives, providing them with jobs, providing them with substantive recreation. Now that we're coming out of the pandemic, we have an opportunity to engage even more with our city-based programming and departments to be able to engage our youth in a much more substantive way. Certainly, as you know, City Council is committed to engaging our youth in a much more dynamic way than maybe in years past. So we feel very confident that we're in a good place. We have a tremendous amount of trust and respect to be able to meet them where they are and give them the alternatives that they need versus picking up a gun and committing violence.
For our community organizations, as we've said over and over again, you guys are the ones who are out there with the people most. Are you guys able to describe some of the changes you are seeing from the kids as we continue to go through this process?
I mean, you see a lot. You see an increase in youth that are actually asking for help, that want to be a part of community service, and that is a big change. A lot of kids that we work with are bottled up. They're scared to be criticized. They don't want someone to see that they're so vulnerable. But now the kids are speaking up more. They are willing to stand up and be that voice of their generation. So it's definitely, the more and more we press forward, the more and more we get involved, the better it'll be.
So what's the next step after this roundtable, for any of you who wants to answer?
Here we go. Where do you go from here?
We go back to work. We've had tremendous success, and we know that. But we don't stand on the laurels of what we did last year. We know that we have much more work to do this year, and we are actively engaged in that. One of the things that came out of this meeting, and I think it was missed until I highlighted it, I heard around the room, around the table, I need to get with you. I need your card. Here is my card. And that's how we're going to continue to build this momentum and continue to build this success and be able to bring a much more dynamic application to all of the challenges that our city is facing and our residents are facing. And that is meeting people where they are and supporting our women and men of the Columbus Division of Police to continue to do the job, the phenomenal job that they are doing, and not just protecting, but serving.
Is this group, you planning to meet again? Sounded like you had a great discussion today. Do you plan to meet again and then maybe take, this on the road to neighborhoods and kind of like you've done in the past?
You know what, I was actually inspired by this meeting, and it gave me the thought process, while we certainly wanted to host the director here today, I think there is value in continuing these conversations. As you can see, there are tremendous partners standing behind me and many more who were not able to stay. I think there's a lot more conversation for us to have and certainly a lot more work for us to do.
Can I ask Chief Crispin a question? Obviously, crime knows no boundaries. You represent the chiefs of the county here, especially when we talk about the Kia boys and girls who are stealing cars going across municipalities. How do you plan on utilizing this group and what you've learned today in trying to combat that crime?
Well, as you know, Lacey, this group, when you're talking about Columbus, they're part of the association as well. So this is not really, this collaboration isn't new to Chiefs Association. We will continue to use this group to then build the bridge between Columbus, because what happens in Columbus tends to happen in the suburbs eventually. So we'll end up using this bridge to sort of build this same relationship with the other suburbs. The Franklin County Chiefs Association has taken some of this already, because this started way before this meeting even, is we've taken a lot of that and already shared that with the city through a partnership with the Central Ohio City Managers and Mayors Association. So those two organizations have come together. This group right here, we are Linden, Melissa Thomas, St. Clair, all those people in this group have been in these meetings with the Chiefs Associations for quite some time. So if I could, and if the director wouldn't bother if I said it, because I told him I'm going to steal it from him, and that is that, he said something that I think I will take back to the Chiefs Association and remind them that this is probably really the truth, which is when the could I steal it?
Please.
When the,
Charge you later.
Thank you. When the drug dealers and the criminals are in charge in the communities, what you have is fear. When the police are in charge, what you have is oppression. I think I got that right. But when the community is actually running the show, you have some happiness and some safety. So I think that's a serious message that I would like to take back to the Chiefs Association, to make sure to the other mayors and city managers and say, whatever we're doing here can't just be in Columbus. It has to be in the suburbs. It has to be all the way around. So thanks for calling me out, Lacey.
Thank you, everyone.
Anytime.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Congratulations. Thank you.